another week of Crypto Mondays. Welcome. I hope you guys have had a great week, and depending on where you are in the world, the earth may be on fire. So, despite all the corruption and all the chaos that's going on, I just want to guess bring some positive vibes into the world today because we have some awesome artists with us. We will have Brekkie on Bitcoin. He'll be joining us a little bit later. But for the most part, right now we have Vesa, Josie, and Johnny Dollar with us, prepared to answer your most, I guess, curious questions you have about the crypto art space, if you have any, or just intrigue you. So without further ado, can you guys please introduce yourself? I'm going to start with Vesa since he's closest to me. Go right ahead.
Cool. Hi, everyone. My name is Vesa. I've been a professional creative for about 20 years altogether. But most of my life, I really started with my parents' pots and pans as a drum set when I was 5. And 3 years ago, I jumped into crypto full time. I fired my galleries and had enough of the corruption of the old legacy system and found a home here in crypto art, and haven't really looked back since. And that's me. You can see one of my pieces in the back room over there called I Am Satoshi Nakamoto, which is not something that I'm claiming to be. It's a reversal of the idea that if you ask the question, how are you Satoshi Nakamoto, that's how are you utilizing the technology? That's the relevant part of that question. So that's what that art piece over there symbolizes. It actually has about probably millions of people interlaced in photography from demonstrations from all over the world. And that's why you can see through the Satoshi face, because it's really relevant for you to ask how you are a part of the solution. That's me to begin with.
That's you to begin with. You want to laugh? I met with a guy yesterday. I decided to go walk to the store at night because I went to the gas station, and little did I know there was a curfew. And I got caught in a conversation with the guy, and he goes, I told him I was into cryptocurrency, and he goes, oh, I went to a conference and I saw the creator of Bitcoin tell me that Bitcoin was dead. If you didn't buy in 2 years ago, you should have seen the guy. He was really serious about it. And I was like, really? Is that so? And I kind of just looked at him because, we all know the true answer to that. So anyways, just some food for thought. Josie, go right ahead. Right?
Thanks, guys. My name is Josie. I create NFT art and Bitcoin art for the past few years. Once I discovered Bitcoin and Ethereum, I knew it was something that I had to explore and use art to bring more awareness, different topics that I'm super passionate about. So that's why I'm here, and I've been doing it for a few years now, and I've just enjoyed so much being in this community, with the artists, with the collectors, just with everyone, the technologists in the space. So yeah, that's why I'm here, and I love doing it, and I know I'll be doing it forever.
I'm actually really glad to hear. And Johnny Dollar, you are our last contestant for right now, so you go for it.
Hi, I'm Johnny Dollar. I am a painter as well as an illustrator, mostly a painter. I've been making art 15 plus years. I got into Bitcoin around 2012, 2013. Really less from an art perspective, more of a crypto analyst perspective. I'd had problems with capital controls with banks, and this seemed like an answer. I'm really into liberty and self-sovereignty. I got into NFTs a couple years ago, got into it. I like it more and more, especially because it allows you to monetize digital art. And considering a place right across from my studio got ransacked in the riots, it makes me think that I would like to have less physical inventory as time moves on. you know.
Oh, you can talk. It's just amplify your voice so everyone can hear you.
Does that mean yell or push a button?
No. If, I'm sorry. Give me a second. Okay, it means to enter your host tools, you should see the third icon down. It says amplify my voice.
All right. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, everyone should be able to
All
hear
right.
you.
Hi, I'm Johnny Dollar. Okay. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm an artist. I paint. Mostly a painter, and I'm into crypto because it allows liberty and it's sound money. And I'm digging the digital art teas because really it offers all kinds of benefits to artists. It monetizes digital art, allows me to travel and not have to carry these paintings around. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm in downtown Miami, and they were rioting and looting the store right across the street, a shoe store actually, and cleared them out. And it was disappointing because there was a bank next door and it was left unscathed. On that note, I like crypto because banks suck. So, yes, that's it.
Johnny. Okay, so I guess my first question, and I'll ask that question a little last because it's more for Brekkie because you guys are mostly all into NFTs and I know he is not. But can you tell me how you guys differ from traditional artists? I guess how is it different for you? Has there been any career changes? Have you guys always been into art, or is crypto a reason you got into art? Anyone can pick up first. Go for it.
Well, I'm a traditional artist. I'm a painter. Oh, okay. I'm a painter, and as well as a crypto anarchist. So it was like a easy fit. As far as NFTs go, like I said, it really allows us to monetize digital art, and that's really great because it's actually making better art. Like art is getting better because it allows artists to explore different media. And
Totally.
yeah, that's my take.
I agree, and along with Johnny Dollar's benefit of NFTs, beyond the monetizing digital work, it's a really interesting space because within.
I'm sorry, Josie. Give me a second, Johnny. I think you're echoing. Can you mute yourself while everyone else is talking? If you don't have a headset. Thank you, Josie. Go for it.
Is that all right now? Better now?
You're good.
Okay. But yeah, along with monetizing digital art, it's such an interesting space where art and this technology collides. It's not just doing that alone, but it's really pushing the boundaries for artists and platforms to create new ideas, create new things, implement animations within their work. Most of us, I think all three of us here on stage, start with paintings. Vesa, you might start with photography. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but at some point we're all painting physical works. And then when we are taking that to NFTs, we're animating them, we're doing all sorts of different things with them while putting them in some cases on chain and giving our collectors an easier way to invest and trade and collect. Because quite frankly, a lot of people have run out of wall space, and it's just an easier transaction worldwide to do with NFTs. But yes, myself, I've always been interested in art and done it as a hobby, but really did not professionally decide to take a career in art until I found Bitcoin. And that was the main reason why I knew there was something that I could share in that way with my journey and that it might connect to other people. So that's 100% the reason why I started to seriously.
So if you didn't find something like Bitcoin, you would have not even gotten into this industry. You would have just left art alone. What would you have done instead, out of curiosity?
I studied finance in school, so previously I was in private wealth management. which opened my eyes a lot to the system that we were living in. Especially, I was managing portfolios for high net worth clients, and it was just eye opening. And finding Bitcoin totally changed my path. And I actually did a coding boot camp because I was like, I want to find any way I can work in crypto. I'm going to build websites for, blockchain companies. So I did a coding boot camp at Northwestern. And that was going to be my path. And basically that led me to leaning more towards the design side and then fully picking up art, which I'm doing full time now. But something within tech or finance have always been my interest.
Wow. Okay. That's quite a, I guess, life decision when it comes to just based off cryptocurrency. It's really interesting. I love it when I see people's lives completely change, 180 when it comes to crypto. What about you, Vesa? You tell me. I know you've been in the game just as long as Johnny, so.
Well, sort of. Well, in one way, you're right, and a little bit of, I suppose, but in that sense, we're the same. We all start from paintings, but I started originally with filmmaking. I got educated as a film director, and I had a production company for over a decade, and then I found myself
Really?
doing a television series about dogs, educating people actually about dogs, because I had some bills to pay and I had a crisis of everything in Helsinki, and through some freak accidents and I got trained in neurolinguistic programming, which is a sort of it's a form of hypnosis, I suppose, in a way. And I thought at some point I got this crazy idea that what if I body painted on someone, because I didn't really know how to paint at that point. And I have this whole story that when I was about 12, I was in class, in painting class, and we always did watercolors. And I absolutely hated watercolors because they didn't have any contrast and wet paper and that kind of a thing. And then my teacher came next to me and said, well, you obviously don't have any talent in painting whatsoever. And I had to agree because I was probably thinking about a drum beat or something like that. And then just way later, then I found this crazy lady who came to do this process with me, and I body painted her and photographed her, and then I made some paintings and I photographed those paintings and I put it all together with Photoshop. And once I saw it, this was about 12 years ago, I realized that my whole life direction changed. I wanted to be an A-list Hollywood director, but even if I would have made the most amazing films, I wouldn't have ever come up with something that was completely my own. It was just putting things together in a way that I hadn't anyone seen do it before. And around at that same time, I'd seen all the documentary films about the monetary system, and I was very interested about how that whole thing works. So I made some innovations in pricing and everything when I did my first show, but it sort of never really took off because I kind of declared as a newbie to the art world that I'm a central bank now, and my naivety was a little bit sort of washed alongside. So long and the short of it, now all of these smart contracts and the NFT world, essentially my originals were high resolution digital originals already 12 years ago, but no one cared about them because you didn't have any blockchain solutions in order to make them valuable. And I've been waiting for the space to happen and flourish for a very, very long time, and I couldn't be happier that it's here. But there's some pluses and negatives about that currently, as there probably always will. But I'm very grateful to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm grateful for all of you guys to be here. Honestly, the space for me, I've been here not too long, about 2 years now, 3 years going on, maybe. I think something like that. But
are you guys still here?
Been a good run. Yeah. Can you not see us? Can you hear me, Vesa? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh.
Cool. Okay.
Message.
Well, yeah. That was already quite a long answer, I suppose. Did Annalise leave?
No.
She's
Can you
still
hear
here.
me, Vesa?
Oh, you know what it is? You know what it is? We're in a different instance.
Who's speaking?
Oh my God.
Josie,
He
can you
can't
hear me?
see anyone.
Josie. Hey, yeah, I can hear
So
you. I
Annalise
just
is
can't.
talking. She's right next to you, but I think we're in a different Is there a way to fix that, Annalise?
Yeah, he just has to reload in the world. You're in a
'cause
different
I can't
instance.
hear her.
Follow me.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. If you guys can't hear us, you're in a different instance. Also, feel free to walk around. There's another gallery in the other room. You can hear all of
Reload.
us. We'll be
Okay.
amplified throughout the entire time. I know people on the stream can't see, but
Okay.
they can see us. So, anyways,
Um,
okay. So you guys have all
How's that
interesting.
done?
Besa, can you see it? Can you see it? Did you get it?
How
No?
does he reload his instance so I can tell him?
Okay, so you have to go to your menu, and when you go to menu, you have to go to settings, and there's a re-enter space button.
Menu, settings, and then there's a re-enter space button.
Okay.
Okay, I think you got it. All right, so he'll be back in a second. But question for you two, because you guys have had some quite interesting life stories, and I didn't know Besa did, film and all that kind of stuff prior to being here either. But I guess what has been your favorite thing so far on your journey, on your art journey? Josie, I want to hear from you first.
I know this is going to be super cliche, but the community has definitely been my favorite thing so far, and not just from artists, but also from collectors. And I've truly become friends with, I'd say, 80% of the people that have collected from me, even some that are anonymous. And the passion that people have and share with you through experiencing your art is something that I've never had before, and it's just been so amazing. If you can make a piece and truly have someone else, and it's a piece that relates to your journey in the space, and have someone truly connect with it and find it valuable in their eyes, even if they don't collect the artwork at all, they just appreciate it. That's absolutely fine, and that's kind of the best part in the art space for me so far. As an artist, you always want more people to see your work, and to have people reaching out, talking about how your work impacts them or means a lot to them. That's definitely been the best part for me so far.
Johnny?
Am I still muted?
Nope,
Can you hear
you're
me?
good to go. Just make sure you amplify yourself.
Okay. Okay. And the question was, hey, Vesa.
It was regarding
well-
what's your favorite thing so far on your art journey? I guess what has impacted you the most?
My art journey, the entire journey, or in crypto, you mean? Because
I want to say in crypto.
I mean, honestly, okay. Honestly, I'm not really a crypto artist as much as Josie's work is more about spreading awareness, as well as it's aesthetically pleasing. It's good work. Crypto is just a tool for me, as well as decentralization for a bigger movement of, what we're doing. Like, a lot of my art is more about, technology, and crypto is one of those tools. But, the most impactful, I would say, was the Rare AF, the Rare Art Festival, meeting these artists from around the world. And that was really where I got inspired, hanging out with developers, because there's some really interesting guys and girls, generally guys, though. That's just, but yeah, like really interesting people that like to build things and really, I don't know how to put it, to play with tech and to make new art, like a new type of art using this technology, I think is really interesting. Like the AR, for example, and just all the unlimited possibilities that have kind of opened up to my mind. And yeah, that's it, really. Like I've said it before, devs are like the unsung heroes. Like they deserve more credit, especially, but yeah, that's my answer. I think
Okay, and then
Tessa's waving.
Who's waving? Besa?
Yeah. Sorry, what was the question?
Yeah, so the question was, I guess throughout the period of your journey, what was the most impactful, portion or moment or whatever you've done?
Well, there's a few pieces in the other gallery thus far.
Annalise, can you hear me? Hello?
Johnny
Sorry
has a
about that.
problem, I think.
Yes, I can hear you. Who is that?
It's Lou.
Hey, Lou. What's up? Can you see
Hey.
the panel going on?
Yeah, no, it's great. You're doing an awesome job. My friend Lori here, and she's muted. Can you unmute her?
The crowd should be muted because the speakers are talking. After the speakers are done talking, then I'll unmute everyone.
If you unmute people, because if we're like far away and unmuted.
I will. Okay, well, I guess because there's people in the gallery, I'll allow it. But they have to be far away.
If it's a problem, then you can stop it.
Everyone's unmuted now, so they should be able to talk. I just asked for people who are here in the crowd in front of us not to talk, but feel free to talk in the gallery.
Okay, I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, sure, go for it. Go check out the gallery. Okay, sorry about that. Vesa, the question was regarding, I guess, your journey and what has been the most impactful portion of your journey.
Well, probably artistically, it was body painting this Bollywood actress, and that was it was quite something because she's Pakistani and she's Muslim, and for her to come and be nude body painted in Finland was quite a deal, and the whole project took me 2 years to make. And because I wanted to make it right, it was such a volatile thing, and we could have been actually killed for doing that project. And I literally had friends and family who were sort of telling me their goodbyes when it came time for us to go to London to publish the whole thing. And we made these 6 art pieces that commented upon the common origin of all spirituality all across the world. And it was really something. I'm really super proud of it still. That whole thing, and it taught me about the power of art. I mean, it's one thing to dream about actually doing an impact on the world or changing culture or being a part of the conversation in such a way that something really takes off. Who's this guy?
Which guy? Who are you looking
at? Someone behind you.
It's Brekkie.
Someone behind me?
Brekkie.
Oh, hey, it's Brekkie.
Cool.
That's who it is. Okay, well, let me scoot over from your spot because that's technically your spot. All right, I'll just stay next to Vesa. Hey, Brekkie. So, Brekkie, I guess you kind of just popped in a little late, but can you please do me the favors of introducing yourself? Let me actually amplify you so that you can be a little louder here.
Sure, or if you want, you can let Vesa keep going. I don't mind.
Oh, Vesa, I'm sorry. Were you done?
No,
or did you still have more?
I was about done. I mean, that was the gist of it. I can go a little bit more into it once we get into the gallery room if someone wants to, but I was about
No,
done.
you tell me. Well, people are allowed to go in the gallery as is because they can hear us when we're amplified. They can hear us throughout the entire world, so they can still hear you talking.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Where did Brekkie go?
It's in the back of the room.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's checking out his stuff. So Brekkie, just go ahead and unmute yourself. I made you a host, so you should be able to access the stage no problem, and you should be able to amplify your voice so everyone can hear you in the world as they're checking out the gallery and as they're here with us live. I think Brekkie's lost in the sauce, guys.
Yeah.
Brekkie, can you hear us? And he's gone. Okay. All right. Well, okay. So again, guys, feel free to check out the gallery. Everyone's unmuted for that purpose, so you guys can talk far away, but please don't talk here in the crowd. If not, you'll be kicked. Okay. So is he back? No? Okay. All right. So I guess where do you guys see yourselves in the next 5 years? Johnny, let me start with you. Where do you see yourself in your current movement?
Well, in the next 5 years, it's crypto moons again. I plan on probably being on a beach somewhere, drinking lots of rum and painting the boats as they hit the sunset. At least for a little while.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Awesome.
What about you, Josie?
5 years is a very long time. But in 5 years, I imagine myself just continuing to grow my community and brand in this space. And I have a lot of really exciting projects coming up within the next year, including things in augmented reality, physical collectibles, physical artwork, different things going on. So I'm super excited to launch those. And also do something exciting I have coming up in the NFT space. So really just grow myself and my community, and also just take on the challenges of adding more and more tech into my work, because our space is growing so fast, and it's our job to, include all of these things within our work. So that's, I guess, the short answer.
Okay, fair enough. Johnny, or not Johnny, sorry, Vesa.
Yeah, just hopping about here, trying to find
Just
the
go
stage again.
to,
I went off world for a little bit.
No, it's okay. You are pretty much on the stage. You're hovering right over it.
Oh,
So-
VR troubles.
Where do I see myself in 5 years?
Yes.
I've got a lot of plans on what to build, which is a platform of my own, I suppose, altogether, and going further into virtual reality and things like that. But it just depends on who are the people who I'll find to build those things with me. But I'm one of those who's probably going to be creating and trying to find new ways to make cool stuff happen till I draw my last breath, type of thing. So I'll be sticking around. Sort of short version. Who knows? I mean, we didn't know that the oil prices were going to go to negative this year, and a whole bunch of other things that have happened that defy the laws of gravity in a sense. So I don't know. I hope I'm lucky enough to be creating cool stuff.
Okay, makes sense. Fair enough. Brekkie, can you hear us?
I can. I was lost in the miasma for a little while. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Don't worry about that. All right. So, first and foremost, Brekkie, please introduce yourself, because personally, I know very little about you, but I've seen your art everywhere, and we haven't heard from you because you've been lost in the sauce. So go for it.
Sure. Hey, everybody. Brekkie, Yvan Bitcoin here, the name I go by at least. I call myself a Bitcoin artist, which means that I make art with the intention of it helping spread Bitcoin and promote thought and talk around Bitcoin. I also work as the creative director over at Swan Bitcoin, as well as a company called Tantra Labs. I'm happy to talk about them later. And I just love the creative process in general.
All right. Time to
How
open
about
her up.
that?
So, under your host tools,
There we go.
the third icon that says amplify my voice.
Hello.
There
How's
you
that?
go. Yeah, loud and clear, man.
Hey, Brekkie.
Sweet. Who is that?
It's Lou.
It's Lou.
Oh, hey, Lo. How you doing? Cole, should I restart?
I think we're
No,
a few
you're
blocks
fine.
away from each other. I'm in
Oh,
Venice.
good. Stay inside then. Yeah. Did everyone hear
so
me
you guys-
before, or no?
Yeah, everyone can hear you.
I
It's
heard
just,
you,
you
Brekkie.
were a little low. It's just
got it.
amplify my voice just makes you loud, and everyone can hear you throughout the gallery as well.
Sure. Yeah, so that's it. Trying to bring my creative talents to something I love and something I care about, and that's Bitcoin and a future built on sound money. So here we are. I'm a big fan of a lot of the people in this room and working with them, and some I hope to work with down the road. And that's about it. Unless anybody, I missed the earlier conversation, so I don't know what we're talking about.
Okay, so give me a second. Sorry, apparently there's like random noises playing and I have to turn them off. Guys, give me a second.
Yeah, there's like a game thing going on. I thought I was going crazy.
No,
could be my
I
computer.
didn't hear it.
Oh,
I
thank
didn't
God.
hear it, and wow, nobody
could
told
hear
me.
it.
That's so funny. Jerome left something playing, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" People are telling me,
was
"Oh,
Jerome.
we hear other things. We hear other things," and it wasn't. It was in the world. There was a in the other room. There was a under your experience button. You could play a different video, but I guess he left it up from a game night. But anyways, it's fine. So, Brekkie, now that you're here, I had asked this question to everyone before regarding art and the type of art you do. And do you do NFTs? Why or why not?
Oh, they always ask me this. I have never created an NFT that I've sold. I've made one NFT on Counterparty. For the type of art I do, most of it's physical, and so I don't really have a need for NFTs aside from, let's say, improving on like a certificate of ownership experience. And I'm just not at a point where it makes sense for me. It's kind of a rabbit hole. I'm probably the resident Bitcoin maximalist in the room, and I do think that NFTs are going to end up on Bitcoin eventually. And so for the time being, I just don't feel the need to experiment. I think it's awesome if people want to. That's great, but everything's being figured out, and there's a lot left to do. I wrote an article about this for Bitcoin Magazine, which kind of really dives into my feelings on this. So feel free to check that out. But I don't know. I think they're an interesting thing. The problem is, well, it's the same problem I have with anything that when you try to put something on a blockchain, if it's inherently digital, great, awesome. Like if it's purely digital art, like NFTs are awesome for artists. The chain that they're on aside, we'll put that aside for a second. But if something's physical, you're always going to have this sort of oracle problem trying to tie a physical object to, the digital ledger. So I'm not sold on it. I'm open to learning more and seeing how these problems can be fixed. But for me, they're just not. They're not as important to me as promoting Bitcoin. Like I say this a lot. Like I'm not using Bitcoin and blockchain in general to make my art. Sometimes I am. That's not the point of it. My point is it's almost the opposite. Like I'm using art to promote Bitcoin, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, no, makes sense. All right, so my last question for you guys. Does your art have any multi-functions, or does it do anything in addition to, just being physical or digital? Like, does it have any private keys hidden in it, or any wallets, any cool features? Feel free to jump onto the question.
I've done an art piece that had a puzzle hidden inside of it that connected to like a larger prize pool, which was a pretty fun one. And it was a collaboration with some NFT projects in the space, like CryptoKitties, CryptoVoxels, Axie, kind of the whole group of them within this puzzle, which was an awesome, fun thing. And then I also am working on something basically in general for people who hold my tokens that they get certain perks for already being a token holder. So more to come on that soon. But those are definitely two larger things for sure.
Yeah, I've done
That
a
was
lot of
awesome.
that.
I thought that was really insightful.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Sorry
okay.
about that. Looks like I disappeared for a second.
Yeah, I mean, I have, there's a painting back there called Show Me Your Cookies with the QR codes that has a private key as well as a wallet in it. I have another painting with a hardware wallet embedded in it that has a counterparty token used. Actually, to touch on Brekkie's point, I use the hardware wallet with physical art to embed the counterparty token as not only a wallet, but also to hold the NFT as proof of proof of ownership or authenticity, if that's a thing you care about. Yeah, I've done a lot of that, as well as the AR. Yeah, no, it's really this. That's the funnest part about this for me is playing with the technology. And true crypto art uses cryptography. In my opinion, it's not just being a cheerleader for Bitcoin. All right. Anyway, this is some
Sorry, I
really
muted the
interesting
crowd.
stuff going on here. No, that's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, now the crowd's the best part. That's why we're here. But yeah, no, I really think the technology is the most interesting part. And Bitcoin adoption's coming whether the artists do anything or not. Bitcoin doesn't need us. I love Bitcoin, but it's coming, and it'll probably be coming really soon. That's my thoughts, at least.
So Johnny, I'm going to push back on that a little bit. I agree with you. I think that Bitcoin is the honey badger, doesn't need us, all that stuff. But I think this is something you'll agree with, that like art especially can be used to help hasten the adoption and make the learning curve easier and get more people on board in a more meaningful way faster. So I'll touch on a little bit of how I use hardware and stuff like that also. Basically, something that I've been working on, and I'm kind of prototyping a couple different versions of this, is how to incorporate full nodes into artwork, or to turn nodes into into artwork, if that makes sense. It's
Sure.
Everyone says, "Oh, run a node," and most people are like, "Why should I run a node?" And there's lots of real reasons why you should run a node, but I like to think that if you can turn a node into a piece of artwork, somebody might be more willing to have that in their home on display, and then it's an even better tool for getting, starting conversations, because it's not just a painting with a Bitcoin symbol or something that people won't ask about. If it's, got blinking lights and looks kind of cypherpunk and crazy, people are like, what the hell is this thing? So I don't know. That's something I'm working with, and I'm thinking I have one like giant canvas that I'm embedding a node in now, but I'm working on some sort of other things where the node is really the centerpiece. So we'll see where that goes, but on the agenda.
Well, Fractal Encrypt has done that. You should check it out. Very cool. I agree.
I've seen this stuff.
If you're making it aesthetically pleasing, that is the point of art, to add beauty to the world. And I mean, my humble opinion, it's like really,
Sure.
Make the world better. As far as adoption goes, I think really what's happening right now with the geopolitics, adoption is going to come like a tidal wave within the next year and a half. But I think you're right, though. I mean, really, artists, we do have a responsibility to teach. If that's the path we're going.
I don't think so. I don't think we have any responsibility to do fucking anything. We can do it if we want to. I mean, I'm no one's fucking lapdog, bro.
Oh, dude, you're
but-
everyone's lapdog, man. Don't make me answer that in public.
Tell him, Johnny.
no, it's not even Bitcoin. Not as much as I love. No, because as much as I love Bitcoin, I don't think I'm obligated to do anything. Everyone should do if they're inspired to do. Like I was inspired to do stable art. The concept, as was the question, if we have utilized the technology. One of the things that I did is that I tied my unique repaints into the price of Bitcoins, because originally I tried to give people reasons as to why they should think that art is valuable, or it's an investment asset class, or those kinds of things. And most people here, they sort of had about 10 grand of fuck you money if they saw something really interesting, but they didn't see it as a real investment. It was more like something that it's something that supports your mission, or something you want on the wall. But essentially, like, all of a sudden, if you tie the price of one Bitcoin into your art in the way that I did, then the laws of the whole space started working for me, as opposed to something else. I'm also launching a social token that helps with the crypto voxels pyramid that we built with Ogar just a while ago, and I'm experimenting with a bunch of stuff. But I think the most interesting thing with this space thus far that I've done is the stable art concept, and I hope that really takes off. And let's see, there's also another innovation coming soon.
Interesting. So I'm gonna open up any questions to the crowd, guys. I'll allow you to raise your hand, and if you have any questions for our wonderful panelists here, feel free to ask. You're gonna have a little button icon, so if you raise your hand, I'll get the notification, and then you guys can ask as many questions as you want. If not, feel free to tour the gallery because there is a gallery. All right, so we have one question from Rico. Or, okay, well, it disappeared. Rico, if you had a question, raise your hand again, and I'll let you. Okay, go for it, Rico.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Did I unmute you? Did I mess up?
Yeah, you just muted me.
There you go.
All right, we're good now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, cool. My first question is, how many Bitcoin do you need until you finally made it? Because I have 7 right now, and I want to make it. How do I make it?
Well, I think you're doing better than most people, man.
Yeah, I would
I
say
have
the same.
Bitcoin. I have 240 Ethereum, and I have
240 Ethereum. Do you guys hear this, man?
Yes.
I think he should buy some art.
I think you should
Yeah.
buy some art.
Anyway,
You should spread some of that around.
my
You
main
made it
question,
already.
though, for you guys is, what are your private keys? Can you just email them to me? Email me all your private keys for your Bitcoin wallets. and your Ethereum
Annalise,
wallets.
can you mute this clown?
What?
You guys
That's
are
so
funny.
bigoted. can't do
I'm
that.
Rico, I'm gonna go ahead
No, she
and
can,
give the
actually.
floor to somewhere else. I appreciate the comedy though, Rico. Thank you.
Did you like my questions, guys?
Yeah, awesome.
They were
All right,
inspiring.
so Epic Gamer, you're next. You guys are funny. Go ahead. Epic Gamer, go ahead.
Just gonna do the Macarena until somebody asks a question.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Or I heard a hello, at least.
Can you? Am I muted? Hello?
Yes,
Yep,
yes, we
you're
can hear you.
unmuted.
Hello? Did he
Hello,
F
is
for
this
Epic
working?
Gamer? Yes.
Yeah,
What?
it's working.
We can hear you.
Hello?
Oh my goodness. All right,
Yes.
Epic Gamer, I'm sorry. If you can't hear us, I apologize. All right, next is Tony Hustle. Go ahead, Tony. We're awaiting consent from you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
Okay, so my question is, in the midst of the COVID-19 crisis, how are we feeling about cryptocurrency? Is this going to help or hinder?
You can't sneeze on a Bitcoin.
I mean, it depends. If you're talking about the greater crisis, the crisis that's going on in the world beyond just COVID, then I don't know. Personally, I believe if you fix the money, you fix the world, but that's a long way off. You know, we need to fix the base layer of society, and that's going to take some time. If you're asking
Yeah.
if Bitcoin's going to moon, that's a separate question.
Actually,
Yeah, I think at this time, with what Brekkie said, I mean, as community members, we can all help educate other people with what's going on.
Whoa.
Yeah, can we mute the audience here?
Yeah.
Who is that? All right, hold on. This is not okay, guys. You guys can't do that.
F niggas.
Black nigga.
All right, I'm muting everyone.
It's just
Whoa, okay. Who is that? That's not cool, man. Let
The
me block
problem
these
is we
people.
left this open, and then it could just be random trolls.
It's not working. That's what I was trying to tell you. And okay, hold on. Oh, sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. My stage blocker went off, and people are acting a little crazy.
Oh, snap. Okay.
All right. So Tony, you should be the only one that has the stage now. Everyone else should be muted. And if you wanted to continue with your question, go right ahead.
Y'all can hear me?
Yep.
I mean, that was the only question I had. Really was just finding out, what was you guys' opinions and what were your thoughts on that?
If you don't mind, I'll chime in. I think that it's an interesting time right now, and if we can help educate other people on what's going on in our financial system, the printing of money, on all these topics in the background, that could help, potentially open people's eyes to more sound money and a better alternative. But at the same time, with COVID and with everything going on, the reality of it is that a lot of people have lost their job. A lot of people don't have a savings. A lot of people can't pay their mortgage. So it's not, and that's, a large portion of the world. So that's not necessarily something that people can truly invest in right now, in my opinion, or at least what I've seen in different communities. But hopefully this is the time that we can help educate people about what's going on.
Did you get that, Tony?
Yeah, I did.
All right. Perfect. All right. So there's a few more questions, but they're from people who have already asked questions. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is actually let everybody speak. We're going to go ahead and end the presentation here. And if you wish to speak to any of the speakers, feel free to just talk to them directly and check out the gallery. All right, guys?
Cool.
Thank you guys so
for
much.
putting together.
No, thank you so much for coming, and I'm sorry for the few technical difficulties. Unfortunately, the mute all somehow came off, but you guys all have host tools, so if you guys clicked on accident, I'm not mad at you guys. I'm not mad at the host. I love you guys. You guys do awesome jobs here. And again, guys, there's a gallery in the back. There's another room. Go check out that gallery. It's really cool. So feel free. Thank you guys for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Annalise.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone else. Nice to hanging out with you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, you guys. Did a great job.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody, for coming.
Emojis for the guests.
Yo, John.